There we go. We are live.
Live, live, live.
Yep. So we'll just wait till it fills up a bit. Wait for Andrina. She shouldn't be too long, and then we'll get started on the question.
Sounds good to me.
It's probably the usual questions you get in every time you do one of these, but
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Hey, Dobies. Hello there. How you going?
hey, Dobies.
Toby,
Scott, don't you try and talk.
I'm not going to talk. Fuck it. I'm not going to talk. I'll just sit here and, hey, Toby, everybody comes in and give thumbs up.
That's it.
It's all yours. Get carry away.
Hey, Colleen. How you doing?
Hello.
Colleen's one of my best buddies.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, she's a very, very, very dear friend of mine. Good show. Good show. That's what I want to hear.
We're just
Colleen,
waiting for
I've
Andrina.
lost my voice, so just tell her, Colleen, have the voice, so I'm quiet.
That's it.
It's Granny that's caused
I
the
don't know.
problem.
I don't know if Danny's heard about Granny.
I was telling him earlier.
Yeah, yeah. She told
Oh,
me about it. I said, okay, I see how it is, There we go. There's Granny right there. See?
that's bad, isn't it? That's bad.
See? There you go.
It seems to work.
Hey.
It seems to work.
It started off as a laugh for Chrissy's birthday. That's how it started.
Mm-hmm.
But now Granny is to become a regular feature.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's like my character, gotta be Bob Ike. Uh, that that's his name, gotta be Bob Ike. Uh, he's become a regular on a couple channels, so he's quite the jerk, but he's funny anyway. So
But
he's
I don't want anybody thinking that I'm some kind of cross-dresser or something, because I'm not. I've not came out the cupboard. I've not came out the closet.
that's it.
Are you sure?
Just to give me. Mm-hmm. Thanks,
That's
Toby.
it.
Oh, we've lost him. That's good when you lose your guest, isn't it? We've lost our guest. Scott can't talk, but doing well.
Where'd he go?
I don't know.
Did you kick him out?
I've not touched it. I'm sure he'll be back. Granny scared him off. Exactly, Dobie.
Toby, you gotta go to word and chat.
Scott, just you don't try and talk, pal. It sounds terrible.
Is he going completely?
No, but you sound like an old woman.
Is Danny going completely? You twit.
Yes.
Right.
I'm sure he'll be back.
I don't know. I hope so. But you're on your own.
I know. How bad would that be? Oh, there he is.
There you go.
Well,
I kicked my own butt out. How do you like that?
We were wondering.
Yeah, and I went to put the thing up on Twitter, and then I accidentally closed the wrong damn window. And I was like, dude,
Well, you're back now.
that's it. Yeah, you guys are gonna have to excuse Scott. His voice is not doing good because he grabbed extra small underwear by accident and put it on. So now his voice is like really up there high, and he's got a sore throat because the underwear was too damn tight. So
Yep.
you'll have to excuse him.
I grabbed Danny's underwear instead of mine.
So you know, it's like the army. Eh? All right, gentlemen, it's Monday. We get a change of army. Scott, you change with Danny. Danny, you change with Dobie. Dobie, you change with.
I know, it's terrible, isn't it? Terrible.
Was quite a shame, I tell you.
I know it just means I've got to bloody talk now.
See, just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water.
That was a good film. I like that film. That was a good film.
That's like that guy that went to the doctor there. He says, Doctor, what can I do about my high voice? And the doctor said, well, you are well endowed. You know, if we take a little bit off of there, your voice will lower. No. I'll go see another one. So he goes to another doctor. And he says, Doctor, what can I do about my high voice? He says, well, he says, you know, you need to snip a little bit of the clip and then your voice will drop. No, I'm going to Florida. Screw it. I'm going on holiday. So he's out in Florida and he's swimming and he's coming in the shore and he looks, shark.
Don't make me laugh. Don't make me laugh. Here's Beth.
Hey, Beth, how you doing? Yeah, don't drop me. I'm fragile today, you know. Do. You want to come up and see? Okay, come on, Goofy. There we go. Yeah. Everybody, please share this out so on your social medias so that we can get some people in here for these peoples. Yeah. But oh, and if you haven't done it, roll their bones. Right? Right? Oh, you're so tough. Ah!
I feel like a spare peg sitting here.
It's because you're used to doing all the talking.
I know. I do apologise. I should give you post-its.
That's
I
all
put the
good.
post-its up.
It's all good.
You're doing fine, Scott. You're doing fine.
Yeah, you're doing just fine. Don't worry about it. Luna, don't play dead. You're on TV. Thank you. They have to see your life because then they're going to say, what did you do, kill the dog? Yeah, so don't play dead. Okay?
Hello, Beth.
Yeah. Are you ready? You going to sing? Hey, are you going to sing? No? I tried to get her to sing for you guys, but unfortunately she doesn't want to.
That's quite all right. What, Scott?
Just start with questions if you want.
Yep. There's a message for you, Scott.
So, that finger works as well.
You know,
Okay, first question. What got you interested in the paranormal and how did you get started?
Oh, well, it's kind of a family thing. It's been handed down generations. We have nature druids in our tree line, and we have nature shamans in our tree line. So, I started at a very young age. I was seeing them spirits, talking to them, and everything else. I didn't even know they were spirits at the time. I was just friends of mine, I was talking to, and I've always been involved in it. The whole family has like one or like parts of the family are into it, and the parts that aren't into it, they don't judge it or anything. They just go, "Oh, that's cool," and they move on. So it's been a pretty good thing.
It's always good when your family supports you.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the worst thing that can happen is a lot of times children will have gifts or whatever, and the parents they take them to all these specialists and everything else to find out, well, are they crazy or whatever? Hey, beep beep, uh, and they try to find out like what's wrong with the kid, and then when they come up with the answer is there's nothing wrong, they won't even look at the fact that the child could have gifts, and they just tell the kid, whatever, and they don't support the child. So that's the worst thing that could happen.
Well, that's it. Me and Scott's got a daughter, and she's only 4, but we're not sure if she's gifted because there's a church that she absolutely loves to go to, and every time we go, she's drawn to this one particular headstone.
Mm-hmm. Well,
So,
yeah,
and
that's a sign that there's something there. I mean, just keep an eye on it, and if it does develop, just support. I mean, that's all you can do is support and help them to learn. It's okay, it's okay to be different. That's the main thing you want to teach the kid. It's okay to be different. Hatchy hatchy. If the dog sings, if the dog sings, "Oh Danny boy, I'll eat my hat." Hey Lona, you want to sing? Oh Danny boy, the pipes are calling. Good job. There you go.
there you go.
There you go. See?
So, what exactly is your gift, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, I'm a spirit walker. I really don't know. I hear them, I see them, I can talk to them, but it's not like you see every spirit. You only see the ones that want to be seen, and you only can talk to the ones that wish to talk. It's just like anybody else using any equipment. If they want you to see and hear them, you're gonna. If they don't, you won't hear them, right? Um, but I can do everything except feel their emotion. The only thing I can't do, but Blue Falcon feels their emotion, and everything else. So like I could be talking to them, they could tell me, and they describe what they're going through. But sometimes I don't quite get what they're going through, and then Blue Falcon will say, "Oh, so you got this going on and this going on." I'm okay now. I clue back into what's actually happening. Um, so I mean, there are that's the one thing that I really struggle with. But other than that, I mean, mediumship, and I'm a seer, and like I don't know, I'm just a spirit walker.
Just a general bit of everything. So, does your gift affect your home life?
Um, Not anymore. I divorced her. So my home life's good now. I've welded the toilet seat up, and if someone goes to push the toilet seat down, the front door automatically opens. So I'm good now. Uh, but again, I mean, like I had to go to sleep at night, and all of a sudden I'd think, "Oh my God, I see a banshee," and then realize it's my ex. So I'm glad that that's in the past. You know, Otherwise it would have been okay. Yeah.
Anything.
Scott, don't talk.
See, Scott, that's what you get when you go to slip your, you go give your grandmother. What happened was he went and gave his grandma a kiss goodnight, and she slipped him the tongue, and all of a sudden now he's got her voice. It's a strange deal. I don't know how that works, but
Mm, that's a freaking the weekend forever. I need to go fight these cats.
see,
Two of my feet.
Okay, he's a beast. What has been your scariest experience so far?
I've had 3 or 4 that were scary, but for different reasons. Like we had this demigod that you can't really do anything against the demigod, but he wanted to go back. Somehow he came here. He doesn't belong here. So we were able to open a path for him to get back to his own house,
Mm-hmm.
which was a good thing. And thankfully, he was agreeable to go. Had he not been, we would have been so screwed. So that whole thing was that was scary because I mean they got a lot. I mean they're stronger than any demon. I mean they're very powerful, right? So you get in a lot of trouble with them. Um, I guess the other one was when I had to go and there was a couple that were possessed really bad. I got thrown through the wall, picked up and thrown through the third-story window, and I come flying down and I landed on a canopy from the restaurant that was underneath it. Had that not been there, I would have been dead. But anyway, I fell through the canopy, broke my leg, bone come out my leg. End up having to go back up there. I just turned around, went straight back up, and it took like 3 days to get these people cleared. And yeah, that was pretty scary. That was pretty hairy.
It sounds it.
Yeah, I didn't like that one. I ended up having to go to hospital for 4 or 5 weeks. I had broken ribs, broke my leg, broke this shoulder, had a few more broken bones. You know,
Jesus.
that's not one. That's actually like I think that was about 20, 25 years ago, maybe more. I can't remember, but that's when I almost quit working for the paranormal way because I mean, just but and it's also when I got my biggest lesson in life. I think um, because I said to Astro, "Why are we doing this for these idiots? They brought this on themselves. They wanted this, right? So why are we risking our asses and everybody else is in danger because of these two? They're not worth it." And I just about quit. Hey, Lunar, I just about quit. Um, just about quit, and then reality check in because these same two people after that they opened up a drop-in center where people could go, veterans and people living on the streets could go every day and get a hot meal. They had opened up a people would donate clothes and for winter and everything else, and veterans and homeless people could go there and get free clothes, free boots, everything like this, all out of their own expense. And they're still doing it today, like some 30 years later, 25 years later, they're still doing it. And at that point, like I said to myself, well, holy crap, you really can't judge anybody because you don't know the good that's inside people, right? Like, so at that from that point on, I refuse to judge anybody for anything because um, they have done a lot more good than they have bad. These people, I mean, they've more than they've more than made me proud of them, and happy that I stepped in. So yeah.
There's a question for you.
Well, I said I fell off my motorcycle.
I know, can you imagine telling the hospital the truth? They would have looked at you as if you were.
No, I would have been locked up again. So I wasn't going for that one. You got to understand, I started in on March 15th, 1969. Okay, 52 years just about ago is when I started working in the paranormal for the Druids and the Shaman Society in the diocese. Okay, so even saying the word ghost back then got you locked up in the loony bin. You know. So me and the people I used to work with, my circle of friends and outreach, like everybody knows, you once you've been in doing stuff for a while, you kind of put out a net, and you get this network that you all talk to and get around and do stuff with, right? Well,
Yep.
we had that too. I mean, I'm the last one. I mean, everybody else is gone, but um, I used to have my original net, and it was all cloak and dagger. I mean, you'd have to say, okay, we're going to meet at this place to have coffee and donuts or something. Like you couldn't just talk about it openly, because if you did, you went straight to the funny farm. So, and got shock treatments and all kinds of lovely things. So we learned to be quiet about it. But we still did our job. You know.
Yep. Scott's asking what a typical day is like.
What's that?
Scott is asking what is a typical day like?
Oh, typical day. Well, for the job site, for the actual work that I do, um, usually I end up having to mix up a bunch of stuff, preparing for whatever's coming up next. Um, then probably sometimes I get a call. Like one week I had to go do two basic exorcisms, and then I had to go clean out two houses, and then so you just get a list of stuff that you have to do. So then you got to prepare yourself mentally and physically uh, for the whatever's coming up. Um, and then like the last, okay, for instance, the last place knocked me out for a week. I mean, I couldn't eat spaghetti or poop. Like I was just done. Right, couldn't get out of bed, nothing. Uh, it kicked my ass. And actually, Blue Falcon was laid up for about a week too off that one. Um, so yeah, I mean, a lot of it is studying. A lot of it is going over old case files. Um, a lot of times, like we'll go to a place and do do the initial walkthrough sort of a deal, and you go, wait, this is so familiar, right? Um, could it be this? Could it be this? And you got to kind of work out what's actually at that place, which is sometimes it's a lot harder than you think. So then I come back and open up my filing cabinet and I'll say, okay, what does this remind me of? What case does this remind me of? So then I'll take that case out and refresh my memory about it, put it back, and eventually it starts to click in like what it might be, and and then we go the next time to try to basically see if we can get any interaction at all, and we always try to solve it peacefully if possible, and then we go away for a couple of days. We come back and we find out, okay, do we got a battle on our hands, or is there some kind of a thing that we can do in order to just move this one on? So it can be frustrating, and a lot of it is just trying to figure out, like, what are we dealing with, and what's it after? If you can figure that out, then it's a lot easier to deal with it.
Mhm. What's the longest investigation you've done?
Um, hmm. I think the old well, Investigation, the longest would have been Centennial. Work-wise, the longest was probably in a Mansher's house. That was like a 4-week thing, just trying to, because there were so many different layers at that house, right? And you'd go there and you get rid of one layer, and then you go back, and holy crap, now it's worse. But there's something else there that's worse, right? So you get rid of that, and then you go back again, and then there was another one, and it's like, damn it, right? You get rid of that. But basically, what happens is you'll get one that's really strong, who's in charge, right? The rest are his pawns. So you might get 4 different entities in a house, and he'll sacrifice the other 3 before he even lifts a finger to do anything. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that case was like ridiculously hard, simply because you just didn't know if you got to the bottom of hello, just didn't know if you got to the bottom of the case or not. You know, you had no idea. So yeah, those type are the hardest because you just never know. Like once they get a little nest in there, and it does happen, not often, you know, it's not nearly as often as people think that there's a nest, but every once in a while you'll get one where there's one real strong one in charge, and you got all these other ones over top that he sacrifices whenever he feels like it, right? So, hey, Nicole. Just had to say that out loud because I saw the typing in there.
Hi everybody, sorry I'm late guys. I had to run to make my big sister's cigarettes for her, and I had to run to the shop for Willie. So I had to go in the house and breathe for a minute. Oh, you know me, I should be called late, Drew. Be late for my funeral.
So apart
Hi
from
everybody, your wee bro's here.
oh, I know. So apart from the investigation that caused your injury, is there any other ones that really got to you?
Apart from what?
The investigation that caused your injuries, is there any others that really got to you?
Oh yeah, I mean, like just an investigation. Like when we go out on investigations, collecting evidence, that's how we go to relax. Okay, like the stuff you see on the channel, most of it. I mean, there are a couple work-related ones that are on there, but most of it is we're going out, you know, like everybody else. We want to find answers. We want to, you know, try new things. So we go on investigate, and that's how we relax, which is really dumb because we work with it 24/7. But that's how we relax for whatever reason. I don't know. Even then, like when we went to Centennial, it was supposed to be a nice, happy investigation until we ran across a Wendigo. So, you know, there's a Wendigo there, Wendigo, however you want to pronounce it. And we're like, oh shit, dude. So then we thought, well, you know what? We don't really have to deal with this because this isn't our job, right? We're just here. So we didn't. We went home, and that night I was tossing and turning all night. Blaine was tossing and turning all night, and he woke up like really early, like 5:30 in the morning, and so did I. He came up the stairs just as I was putting on the coffee, and he goes, "We got to go back." And I know. We weren't gonna get the problem is where this thing was hanging out was a children's playground. Right?
20 meters. Sarah's meters is going off. Troops.
All the meters are in.
Yeah. What was the noise?
All I got is
Sorry, Danny. I just didn't know what the noise was. Sorry. Investigations that involve children must be very difficult. I bet it is. So you try to figure out who the wee girl spirit is here right now, Darry. I've got a wee girl spirit. It will only tell me her name, will only tell me where she's from. She just keeps pointing up, and every time I turn the spirit box on.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know. I don't know if she's a child that I've lost before. I don't know if she's somebody that I've picked up along my travels.
Probably someone you
I don't
picked up.
know.
Well, if it was a child of yours, you'd have all that information, right?
Right.
It's probably
See, I
someone.
thought because she wouldn't tell me her name, maybe it was because I hadn't had her to name her. I thought maybe that's why she can't tell me her name. Maybe it was a kid I lost and I didn't name her, so she didn't know her name.
No, she would be more interactive with you if it was your own bloodline.
Right.
This
Right,
is one
okay,
that
yeah.
you picked up, who's trying to build trust up, like trying to learn to trust you.
All right, okay.
Once she knows you're safe, she'll start talking more and letting you know who she is. You know.
Okay, then
Uh,
just be patient then.
yeah, just be patient because a lot of times, it takes time to build any relationship, whether it's with a live person or a dead person. So they got to
Right.
get to know you, and you get to know them. And once you do, then you'll start opening up a lot better dialogue, and yeah, you'll get your answers. But just be patient.
So you think that spirits in the same bloodline as you communicate clearer, or
Yep.
maybe a wee bit? Right,
Yeah.
that's interesting to know, Dana.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you have the same bloodline as a spirit, and whether the spirit is 4,000 years old or 2 days old, if they're of your bloodline, they become their ancestors, and
Right.
ancestors always turn out to be guides, or turn out to be helpful in your endeavors, right? So
Right.
they automatically, bloodlines are automatically clued into who you are, and you are clued into them. So,
I always, when I light my altar up, I always say thank you to my ancestors for bringing us here in the first place
mhm.
and giving us a chance at life. And I'll try and do them proud. I always
Yeah,
kind of go along those lines.
as far as hard for children, I mean, when you see a child having a hard time in their own home, that's terrible. But also, every now and then, like I've had a few cases where the child has an attachment, not a possession, but an attachment, and they're hard to get rid of sometimes, right? And that poor child can go from a happy-go-lucky kid to a nightmare in 3 seconds. Um, so yeah, with kids, it's really really hard because because for one thing, you're not sure how stable the child is in the first place,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you don't know, and the parents say, "Oh yeah, well he's fine." Well, how do you know? Like how do I know this, right? Just take your word for it, or do I trust my judgment?
It's hard to figure out like what intent a spirit would have with a kid, isn't it? Like, why would you want to attach yourself to a kid? You either want to live off of their coattails through life,
Hmm.
or you want to help them, or you want to see them fail. So it's hard to, I suppose, figure out why the spirit wants to be around your child in the first place. I suppose that's one of the big questions, rather than an
Normally,
adult.
normally it's actually a very simple reason. Sometimes a spirit will attach itself to a child just so the parents will say, "Leave him alone. Come after me."
Right.
Right? As soon
Simple
as the
as
parent
that.
says that, that parent just invited, if like this attachment,
Okay.
say if it's a demon, that parent has
Get
just
you.
invited the demon in.
Right.
Right?
See, I
So
never thought of that, by the way, because most parents would just do that, right? Leave the kid alone, blah, blah, blah.
all right, leave the kid alone. Come after me. Why are you picking on my kid? Come after me instead. Guess what? That's what they're there for.
So I suppose that would be the main reason then that they attach to kids.
Yeah, that's the main reason. And
Right.
then, of course, if it's the husband that takes the kid, like says, "Come after me, not my kid," and then now the mother says, "Leave my husband alone."
You
Right?
got the full family?
So now it's got two people that it's possessing
Right.
because
Mm-hmm.
a demon can split itself 100 times, right?
Uh-huh.
So now this demon is able to jump back and forth between the two of them. He's got two people he's possessing.
Right. Get you.
So like
Oh,
that
they're
that's
so
the main
smart.
reason. That's the main reason they attach to kids. It's just to
Right.
they don't possess the kid,
No,
but they
just
attach
play
the
with
kid
them.
and change its moods, make it angry, uh, all
And they
that kind of
know
stuff.
everything to scare them, don't they? They know what they're scared of. If it's spiders, they know to
Right.
portray They know everything like that, I suppose.
Yeah, so they, they just attach it, and that's 99 times out of 100.
That's the
If a child has an attachment, it's waiting for the parents to invite it in.
right. So that's interesting to know. Because you need to be very
Aye.
careful with your words. Wording is everything.
Hmm.
Hi, everybody. So, suicides, Danny, if you don't mind me asking you, what do you
Hmm.
feel about suicides when they cross over? Do you feel as if like they're forgiven, or do they need to see their ways of why they tried to kill, why they killed themselves? Do they need to learn that lesson
I think
before they're allowed to?
that's above my pay grade. I think it's really, in my opinion, it's what you believe when you're alive that happens when you're gone.
Right.
Because we're all energy, right? So if we believe that we're going to go to heaven, guess what? That's where we're going to go. If we believe we're going
Right.
to hell, that's where we're going.
Well, go and shut my bedroom door, son.
If we believe we're going to hang around and visit everybody, well, that's what we do. If we think all we're going to do is sleep, well, I think that's what we do.
Right.
But I honestly, and it's not written in stone. It's just my opinion.
Of course.
But I honestly think that it's whatever you believe now, it's what you're going to get, because everything you believed and everything that you did in your life previous to right now has brought you here,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
So everything you do now and everything you believe then is going to bring you to your afterlife,
Right. Okay.
right? So that's the way I look at it. It's like
No, I think the
what you
same.
do now is where you're going. Like you're designing your own fate as you go every day.
Right. See, my dad's not a believer, right? My dad's always kind of took the piss, if you like, out of me with my ghost hunting and things. Oh, that's a lot of rubbish. But last week I was like, just realised how vulnerable my parents are getting, right? They're getting really old. And it hit me all of a sudden like a ton of bricks when I was in the car with my dad. And I says to him, Dad, you've got to promise me that when you die, you're going to at least try and come through the spirit box for me. And I kind of turned him into going to try for me. But if he didn't believe in that, does that mean that he's not going to come through? Or because I have said that to him, he now will try?
No, well, I think you could try. I think what happens, and I've seen it so many times through the years.
But I
There's
wouldn't
so
like to
many
trap him here
spirits.
either.
There are so many spirits on Earth trapped because they didn't make a decision, right?
Right. See, that's what I'm scared of
So
now,
now
that
they're
I've said
confused.
this.
They're just sticking around. They don't know what to do. You know, some of them don't realize that. Some of them didn't even realize they died and they missed the bus. Like
Right,
there's
I get you.
all kinds of reasons for them to be still here. You
Mhm.
know, and like, but I think the people that have a destination in mind, when they pass, they're never here again. They're gone. They're
Right.
they can come and
Mhm.
visit whenever they want, but they go to wherever their next step is, wherever
Right.
that may be, right?
Mhm.
Um, but I think there's so many other people that just don't know right now, or they don't care, and
Uh-huh.
then they get stuck here. They're like, well, what am I supposed to do now, right?
See,
Because they have no
I
guidance.
just wanted to make sure that my mum and dad did know that they couldn't come through and speak to us because I will be listening.
Well,
But I just wouldn't like them, any of them, to be stuck. Like, all right, Undrina says I have to hang about. What, no, what did he? Do you know what I mean?
yeah, no, well, see, there again is bloodline, right?
Right.
So if you went to where they frequented or to their resting place and ran a spirit box, your bloodline, they'll talk to you,
Right.
right? Because it's like, think of the cemetery as like everybody thinks, oh, the spirits are all hanging out in the cemetery. Are you nuts? Look, if I'm a spirit, I'm in
I wouldn't be
Tijuana
in a
or something,
cemetery.
checking out the chicks in bikinis. I'm not going to check in the
Yeah.
graveyard, okay?
I'd be off round the world. I'd
But
be off to the place
think
I've
of
never seen.
think of it as that there are 4 or 5 guardians in every graveyard, okay? That make sure spirits are all protected. Now, all these spirits, they're attached to their own grave because that's part of their body. Whether it's ashes or whether it's bone or whether it's whatever, they're always going to be attached to that spot because part of them is there. Okay.
Right.
So they may go this way, they may go to heaven, they may go wherever they want, but it's a telephone booth. So if you go
Right.
there and you call them, hey, do you want to talk to me? If they do, they'll come there, pick up the phone, and say, hey, how you going?
Right.
Right? The I believe that every cemetery, wherever anyone's been buried or anything like that, that's basically just a hotline to that person. It's a telephone call, and they can come and go as they please, talk to you.
Right.
But to say that they're always at a cemetery, no.
No, I wouldn't say that either. Not unless they were maybe hanging around a cemetery waiting on loved ones or something. But I doubt even that because
Yeah, because they go wherever they want.
you can go
Blink of an
beside
eye,
the
right?
person. Uh-huh.
Blink of an eye. But if you're talking by the bones or you're talking by the ashes, they're going to hear your voice talking to them, and they're going to come and talk to you.
Right. So
You
it's
know,
more a focal point for us than for them, isn't it, really?
it's the
Because you've
same
got
thing.
there.
Same thing if someone phones you at home. You either decide to answer the phone or let it ring, right?
Exactly. Uh-huh.
Well, that to me, that's what a grave is. It's just a phone call. It's
Yeah.
a phone booth.
It's interesting to look at it like that, though, isn't it? Because that means that technically, when you pass by somebody's grave that you maybe knew in life, you could say, "Oh, hello, I never spoke to you," or "they long time ago." And you could
You're
start and have a
welcome.
conversation with them. Like if
Yeah,
you just passed them in the street, is what my point meaning is. Like you pass somebody in the street, and if you know them, you kind of stop and say, "Hiya, how are you?" But if you haven't seen that person for a long time and then you've been through a graveyard and you might see their name, you could then pause and talk to them as if you were just passed by them in the street, like, "Hello, how are you doing?" But except you're doing it through your spirit box.
what do I think about the Who people?
The Lutz family.
Oh,
Who's that?
Amityville.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Amityville.
I don't know who that is. I really don't know
Am-
who they are.
Do you know Amityville Horror?
Right?
That the Lutz family is a family that moved in after all the demons and that was with Lorraine Warren, am I right?
Oh, okay. Okay,
They
yeah.
just
I
have
don't.
to-
I'm
I
not an
didn't
expert
get
on
in,
that. Was it Scott that asked the question?
Yeah.
Scott asked.
I didn't get involved with any of the people in that anime. Like I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't um associate or I didn't want to know who was there. I didn't, that wasn't my job at that place, right?
Right.
So yeah. Was the place infested? Hell yeah. Was the place nasty? Yeah. Was everything they said true? Well, maybe 80% of it was. I mean, some of it was hype for Hollywood, but
Right.
I think for the most part, a lot of it was accurate, and the things that were there were definitely strong enough to do the things that they said. You know,
See, I watched a documentary and it was Danny's story. He was Lutz's stepson. He was a
right?
teenager, I think, roughly 9, 10, 11, 12, round about age group when it all happened in that house. And the things that happened, he still only talk about half of it. That's how I believe him. Because when the cameras and that all hit, he left. He didn't want any part to do with it all. And he still says the exact same words today as he did way back then as a 12-year-old boy. So that's why I tend to believe him. Whereas a
Mhm.
lot of people don't believe the Lutz family, but I tend to believe the kid. Well, he's an adult man now, obviously, but I tend to believe him because he's still got the words of a kid as well, like the way it
Yeah,
happened to him.
I I would believe it too because here's the problem when someone is scarred for life, the story's there. It's never back here,
Exactly.
right?
And that's, I think,
It's
part of
never.
that protection as well.
Yeah, they never have to think about it. And if it could just, oh, there it is,
Hmm.
and you look back 20 years, well, that's the same story. Guess what? It has
Yep.
to be real.
It's
Danny, could
because of
you
the
get
way he
foreign
words it
objects?
as well. It's like he stuck to the guidelines and no wanted to even let any other deep thoughts about it now that he is an adult creep in because I think he probably feels that because it did target him as a kid, I think
Hmm.
he now as an adult understands that if he starts going down that line again, like try to think, well, why did that happen to me? Who is that? What did that do that for? He might invite it back in. I think this is maybe why he sticks to the one story so detailed.
It could be, or it just could be he's just too afraid and he's trying to block it out, right?
Yeah.
Danny, did you ever find objects on your investigations placed by spirits, sort of by
Oh, Nelly there. We do, Nelly, and I'll look for your comment. Oh, my big sister's on the phone to see if I can see her comments.
She can't. Nelly can't see.
Oh, Nelly can't see. Right, Nelly, I know you're in chat room, missus. Thank you.
Yeah, sure, Zach. Yeah, no, I've found lots of things on investigations that were spiritually enhanced or moved by spirit or shown. But again, that comes down to your own belief, right? Like a spirit could take something and put it right on top of your head, right? A spirit could take something and put it right on top of your head. And if you don't believe in spirits, you don't believe they could do that, then it wasn't that. It fell off the roof, right? Like a lot of it is your own beliefs and your own truth, right? But yeah, like I've said, well, if I'm supposed to do this, let me know somehow, and I'll go. And well, for example, we went to Junot to do a water blessing for the spirits there, and Shelley from Thunder Bay Paranormal, it was her first time actually doing a water blessing. But as she got there, she found 3 really white, fluffy feathers. And she took it as a sign from the spirits, Father, Son, Holy Ghost, the 3 white feathers, angel feathers, whatever. She took that as a definite because it was in a perfect roll. You know, like for just to be, bird feathers, they'd be kind of, right.
That was the typical bird feathers for that area type of thing.
Right. And it was in a perfect straight line going to where she was going. So
right.
Hey, Andy. No, Andy, they can't. Once you get rid of an attachment, you get a brand that the humans can't see, but there's a mark from that particular one, right? Now, there's no point. He won't come back because he got kicked out once. So why would he try to come back? He's just going to get kicked out again, right? However, a lot of times a different one will try who might be a little bit stronger and pretend to be that one, okay? So now everybody thinks, okay, this one, we've dealt with this one before. Surprise! It's just pretend to be that one till it gets a good grip on you, right? And then you find out it's a whole different kettle of fish, right? But ones that have already been kicked out, very, very seldom, that in my experience only, okay, in my experience, never come back. But their big brothers might, right? Because it's a family mark for them. So they go, oh, okay. Well, look at dumbass tried and got kicked out. I bet you I could do better, right? So then he'll jump in.
Oh, I bet it's a challenge for them as well.
Yeah, it's a challenge. And it's a rite of passage for them. It's like,
yeah, I bet it is.
I came, I stayed as long as I wanted, and I left. You got kicked out. You work for me now. You see? So, yeah, that'll happen. That will happen years later. But it happens, yeah.
So they would probably recognise something in him, like, well, if such and such attacked you, then to them that would maybe put the mark of like either a challenge or a fact, right, well, what did that demon want in you that didn't get? So they would maybe even go try just to see. It's an invitation, maybe.
Like a lot of them will try. A lot of them though will say, well, look, he's already beaten one. There's no point going after this one. Let's go after a fresh game, right? We want fresh game because they don't know. It's like, okay, this is bad, but it's like buying a used car, right? Do you really want to buy a used car? You don't know what the previous owner done to it, or do you want to get a new car if you can? Well, they're all going to go for a new car, right? They don't really, unless it's someone that's for whatever reason related or joined to or knows the previous one that tried. Then if they can succeed, the one that got kicked out it's subservient now. So that's the only reason that they'll try is because they want us, their own little slave.
Right. Interesting stuff, isn't it?
That is all very interesting.
Thanks, Danny. The one out that knew left me bit marks and deep scratches over my back and arms for quite a few years. Go found another a while back, but seems to have cleaned it back.
No, you're
Oh,
welcome.
Dandy.
Yeah, no, that one will never come back. And if another one does come back, you'll know it anyway, right away. Because see, the one advantage, I guess, if you call it an advantage, is once you've had an attachment, you know if you got another one, like instantly.
You know the signs.
Right.
You know the
Right.
signs, you know the way it feels. So you can get help a lot quicker because you already know what's going on, right? Which is another reason why most of them don't bother, because, like I said, one was kicked out, so they know what to do, right?
Because you know that you're not as vulnerable now.
Right.
So, do you have a favourite piece of equipment when you're out investigating?
It was tricky.
I missed one or two words there. Out and investigating, I heard.
Do you have a favourite piece of equipment when you're out?
Um, just my awareness, like to be on guard, like to watch. Like that's the most important thing is keep your head above water. You know, like keep clear. Um, but I do like my Raptor box that I use. I like all my equipment. I mean, I like my rods. I use everything. So I like all my equipment really. But you know, there's a thing. If you're ever investigating, I'll tell everybody this. If you're investigating and you're kind of like, oh, do I want to do this, do I want to do that, and all of a sudden you can't make a decision, or you're not sure, you know, you just start getting get the hell out, okay? Because that's called dark confusion or demonic confusion or whatever. A spirit is messing with your brain to confuse you, so that you won't be concentrating and you can hurt yourself, or you can, you know, say something wrong. So if you ever get a cloudy head when you're investigating, get out of the area, sit down for 15 minutes, take a break, okay? Make sure your energy feels good, make sure your head clears up. If that happens, continue your investigation. But if you're still a little bit cloudy, that's enough for today, you know? Because that, if they can get into your thoughts, you know, like that's not an attachment, but they can get into your thoughts and mess with you a little bit, right? So if you ever start getting like really confused on an investigation, get out of the building or the area, whatever. Go sit on a rock somewhere for 15 minutes and see if it clears off. If it clears off, you're good to go.
Good advice. I don't think we've really had any really bad experiences now, have we?
No, as of yet. Touch wood. I think it's more because you've got to get to the place with the intent that you're going to have a good. My first always thing is to have a good laugh. To have a good laugh, talk to the spirits, hopefully get them to tell you their story, and just strike up a conversation. That's always my intent going into a graveyard or anywhere, is just to try and help. So I think as long as you walk into a place with good intentions and like a lot of investigators will probably get into the place with wanting to attract demons, wanting to like get all the scary stuff. But if you've got the intent like me, you just want to walk in somewhere and help all the leveled spirits like us as dying as humans, I think maybe a lot of the time you're not going to attract the badness, you'll attract the goodness, do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I hope. That's my theory.
Be
That's
positive.
my theory. I think maybe sometimes.
Yeah, don't ever antagonize them, okay? Because you don't know who's really there. I mean, people say, "Oh, I
Yeah.
got scratched by a demon." No, you didn't. Okay, you got scratched by a pissed off spirit. If you got scratched by a demon, the scratch would go through your belly button, out your backbone. Okay, demons don't play nice.
I bet you.
Lately, I get spirits on
See, I've
visits to me because I use charged pebbles and gem. Yes, Nicole, that would be one reason. The other reason is the more you do in the paranormal, and the more research you do, and the more spirits you talk to, your name goes around. Boom. Spirits are very much gabbergills. Okay, they do like to spread gossip. So that's why you'll notice if someone's using a spirit box, my name will come up. Lou Rock's name will come up. Luna's name will come up. All these different names, because the spirits know who your friend circles are, right? They know that you're friends. So the ones that come see
I
me,
wonder how they knew that.
the ones that'll come and see me will go see you. The ones that see you will come to see me. The ones that go, because whenever they
Right.
got a chance to talk, and they know it's your circle of friends, they're going to go to that person so that they can talk.
Oh,
Yes, I do, Scott. I believe that the sea is just as active as land, because there have been a lot of people die at sea, right? And there's a lot of sirens, and there's a lot of other
see, I've
different
never ever thought of the sea being haunted.
banshees.
Never ever thought of the sea being haunted, but when you think about it, it makes sense, doesn't it? Like all the boats and things that have sank and different things like that. So that's an interesting thought that to know that the sea is actually can be haunted. It's crazy. So if you're at a boat ride one day, you could see a spirit just casually float by. Talk to
That's
you.
a really good question, David. Can poltergeists be sexual predators? Well, there was one case, I can never forget it. This woman called, and the diocese and a few of the priests went over and this and that, and it was a big investigation, because she kept saying she was being touched and violated
Does it, Lola?
and stuff like that. Well, then one night, two of the pastors I know were at the house. They gave me a phone call, said, "You gotta get over here quick. We got serious trouble." So I went over there, and this lady's legs were being lifted up off the bed and down, and then all of a sudden, right around her neck, it looked like a nylon rope, with the curlies, was going right around her neck like this, and it was actually sinking into her skin. So I had to take my knife, okay, no BS. Had to take my knife, stick my fingers between the rope in her neck, slide the knife in like this, and I literally had to cut the rope. Okay, that wasn't there. The rope wasn't really there. It was a spiritual rope.
All right.
And when I went like that, it snapped, and she sat up like this and took a deep breath. Okay. So yeah, do I think it could? But see, I think what happened was it wasn't the poltergeist so much doing it, as a dark spirit came in, sucked up the poltergeist into itself, took the energy of the poltergeist, killed the poltergeist to charge its own self up, right? And then attacked her, and I think that's what it was.
Guys.
I don't think, like, poltergeists can do a lot of crap, okay, but they don't really have a lot of thought pattern. They just want to destroy shit, okay? It's man and women that have needs. It's man and women that want this. They have ideas what they want to do, and they love to do it. So, in my opinion, I think it was some spirit that was a rapist or whatever, liked her, saw the poltergeist, knew it could swallow the poltergeist to get double the energy, kill the poltergeist, but all that energy would be now his. And then he attacked her, and that's what I think happened. So that's what I think happened. Like
makes sense. So
I come up with, right? Like, it could have been anything, but that's the conclusion I came up with. Lately, I like waiting for a doctor.
Charles, James, and Stones, Nicole.
Yeah, that makes sense, Nicole.
Goodness.
That makes sense.
I often wonder, like, see right now when I sit here, my horns are vibrating. It's like a wee tingle, 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 tingle. And I often wonder, was that because I was doing tarot readings a wee while ago? The energy's still flowing through my body.
Yeah, pretty much.
Honestly, it feels deadly tingly. And I get that a lot. And I think, is that the energy, or is it just being my blood seeping?
Everyone has.
Right.
Tell me how to make proper curry. She commented. Oh, geez. That's no good. Okay, you're going to have to excuse me for a minute. I'll be right back.
Okay.
What is that? Okay, Danny. No bother. I could sit and talk to Danny for hours and hours and hours. Honestly, I could. After question after question.
I know what
He's just brilliant. Aye. Hi everybody, how are yous all? Hatchy hatch, hiya pal. Sorry I didn't speak earlier on when yous were speaking. I didn't want to be rude. How are yous all? Hi Mary, how are you? Hi Andy, hi Scott, hi Shrimp Shack, hi Nicole, hi Andy again, hi David. I think we've got everybody. Hi everybody. The worst of it
That's
is we are actually living
living
spirit.
spirit.
I know. I keep saying that to my partner. Well, he's not well, you know, and kind of trying to like lag about. I keep saying, look, you need to enjoy this because it is the only time we're here that we'll remember. Even if we do get reincarnated, we're never going to remember this life. So you have to try and enjoy it. Lunar he is, his foot. I could honestly sit and talk to him for hours upon hours. I have to know look at chat when he's on because I need to concentrate on what he's saying because I want to absorb it like a wee sponge. So I can't think of two things at once. So I always try and interact, like thinking, instead of trying to look at chat, or I would be lost. But he's just like, I don't even know how we managed to get him on here. I think Krista is speaking because you know him, Luna, is that right? But it's so interesting. It's like a newbie's dream, just trying to absorb everything that he knows.
I know it's just a shame that Scott's got no voice.
You could put his comments in. You could still talk through chat. I don't think we would get rid of Scott so easy. Is your wee brother
Well,
still?
no. No, he's
Your
been
mammy was in, I think.
My
I
mum
seen
was
your
on,
mum.
yes.
I've seen her here.
My mother was on, yes. I don't know where she went, but she was on.
Is that your new channel, Luna? I think I've got it. Or is it another one? Chasing Bones. Have you changed the name? I see Scott's in the background.
He's never far away.
He ain't gone anywhere, he says, laugh out loud. We'll just need to be your voice a wee while. Danny, sensible Q time. Do you believe psychedelics can open a person a bit more and awaken what few abilities they may have a bit stronger? We were waiting Danny coming back for that one.
Mm-hmm.
Andy, hi Outlooker. Hi Outlooker, I'll say hello to. Share, will you share my link? Share my link for all the new people that doesn't know me.
Yep.
If you want to go subscribe, guys, and if you've got channels, I'll do the same. Thank you. Welcome back, Danny.
Right. Psychedelics can open up a person a bit more. Wow. Sure as hell make you feel like you can. I don't know.
I betcha. That's how I thought I'd leave that for Danny.
You
That's
know,
interesting.
it depends, I suppose. If that's why you're doing it. I mean, there's there's millions of people around the world, maybe billions of people. Um, the Kajawas, the Kachinin, these are Amazons. The rainforest people, a lot of native people, different native people will do. They use sweat lodges and they use herbs and they use different types of psychedelics to go on a spirit journey or a spirit walk, you know.
See, I've heard that.
And like I've gone on spirit walks and spirit journeys and stuff like that, but mine is through meditation and through sweat lodge and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But yeah, some people use because the only reason they use the drug is because the person's mind is too logical to let go of logic. So if you can't let go of logic, how are you gonna even open up to the spirit world, right? So a lot of them believe that you got to let go of man's thoughts, right? So
Right.
so they'll have maybe some cocoa root, or maybe they'll have that shit that'll knock your ass off. But
Yeah, I bet it will.
They might have mushrooms. They might have all different type of things, and that
It's the
releases
only
your
drug I've never
inhibitions.
tried is hallucinogenics.
You know, the ones that release your inhibitions, okay, can help you.
Mhm.
The ones that really alter your brain, now you can't really be sure if it was the hallucinin or whether you saw, right?
Right.
So it's kind of like one of these things where, okay, look at it. If all this is gonna do, like if I smoke two things, if I smoke two pot, two joints, it's not gonna make me hallucinate, but it will loosen my stick out of my ass, so I might be able to see something,
Did
right?
anyone else just see the orb by Danny at the back there? Up past the Shakara
Well, yeah,
sign?
yes, Andrew, I realize this because I am a shaman,
Mhm.
but a lot of the stuff that we use is stuff you chew. You know, herbs that we chew, coffee root that you can chew, cocoa bean root. I mean that shit will get you high, but it doesn't cause
Right.
hallucinations, right? But it gets you to the point where you go, oh, okay, I don't care anymore. Oh, okay, now I can. If I see something, I see something. You know, like it loosens up. It takes the twigs out of your butt. You know what I mean? So
Right.
that you,
Loosens you up a bit to
you know.
experience more.
But
Aye,
yeah,
because I remember, like, I can't, is it the Doors? The Doors with Jim Morrison, that's what he did, didn't he? He took psychedelics and
yeah,
out into the, I can't remember the place, and he, I think he was lost for about a week or something, but he was just on a trip, getting his
yeah,
thoughts together and things, and he
yeah.
came out and he was a better musician for it.
You know. But like
Mhm.
that's what I'm saying though. You gotta be to the point where you're going, okay, if I take this one, is it going to affect my mind that I will have hallucinations?
Right.
You don't want a hallucination.
No, you want an
You
experience.
want the truth. You want the
Yes.
experience. You want the journey. So you
Yes.
want to take, if you are going to take anything to help you, it's just something to relax your mind so that you're not stuck on logic, right?
Right.
But not something that's going to make you hallucinate,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because then that does you no good. I
Right,
mean,
because my pals have seen cheeseburgers chase them up and down high streets and things, which isn't
mhm.
an experience, it's just a nightmare.
Now that,
So,
by the way, everything I say, everybody, is just my opinion. Okay,
of course, Danny, that's
it's not written in gold, you know.
no,
So
of course.
my opinions are not that of the host or anybody else on this panel but me.
Okay, that's understandable. Yeah, but that's what I was thinking too, though, because you've got to be past a human emotion to let yourself experience something like what shamans like yourself have seen
Mhm.
in their life, because you wouldn't believe it was real.
I've
You know what I
seen
mean?
things that I never believed, and then that's where I seen them and had to deal with them. Then I believed in them. I mean, there were
Right.
certain things that I just that can't be true. Oh shit, it is because I just got punched in the face. You know.
But it
What's
makes
your
sense
thoughts on
though.
provoking spirits? Your answer: don't.
I just don't do it.
Just don't do it.
Would you like to
Okay.
be annoyed when you were alive all the time?
Like, um,
Cold readings.
I'm okay with those too. But anyway, back to why like don't provoke because let's be honest, okay? Let's really look at what provoking can do. Okay? Number 1, if you go in and you're provoking, one of two things is going to actually happen, okay? You're going to walk into a building. Now, to you the building's old, it's run down, it's broken, it's no good, but to the spirit, the ghost, I'm sitting there and this is the one I always use. I'm sitting there on my couch, my ghost couch. I got my feet up on my ghost ottoman. I'm watching the game and I'm drinking a beer and I'm
Mhm.
having a nice relaxing day. Some tithead comes in my house and starts screaming at me, telling me what I got to do in my own
Yes.
house. Okay.
Yes.
Now I'm thinking to myself, what am I, a circus clown?
Mm-hmm.
I got to do, I got to do
Tricks.
what you say, you know?
Uh-huh.
So, oh, you're afraid of 3 loud knocks because that's demonic. Oh, okay. First thing I do.
Right.
Second thing I do is I walk up to you and I take these 3 fingers and I scratch the hell out of you. Ah, demon! See ya. Go back
And
to
then
my
you're back
couch,
to watching your
pick up
couch.
my beer, and watch TV. Okay,
That's what I feel about.
that's exactly what I'm doing. Okay.
Right.
The other thing that could happen is, guess what? There just happened to be a twisted human or a demon in that building. You challenged it. Now, this guy, if he decides to scratch you, he'll scratch you so hard your head will land in your lap. Okay,
Right.
that's the bottom truth.
Mhm.
Or he won't do anything right now. He'll say, maybe next week after. I'll do it when I'm ready, because I sure as hell not dancing to your tune.
I see. I always say that.
But when you're driving down the road next week,
Mhm.
when you're driving down the road next week, all of a sudden your brake lines blow up, and you go sailing off the cliff. Have a nice life, jackass.
Yeah.
Because that's the guy you're gonna piss off, okay? Or he'll just be around you forever, causing you nothing but bad luck and pain and misery.
No, because you provoked them.
All because you were a dick.
Right.
You know, all because you had to be a dick. Well, I've seen Sasquatch.
All right.
Yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
Sasquatch.
There you go, Dobby. It's proof. See, like I was homeless and I stayed in the woods, right, for a couple of weeks, and there was always a distinctive smell, and it wasn't like a smelly wet dog and things. And I don't know if Linda will know what I'm talking about. She does because she told me about it once before. It's like and you just know that it's not half of anything that's normal. If you know what I mean, it's as if it maybe came out from underneath the ground, as if it lies like in a pit or something.
Oh,
I don't know. It's hard to explain.
All right. Hey, Spirit, you want to drag? Go ahead. Take a drag. Go on.
You did that the other day and it did it too. Let's do it again.
There you go. Go ahead. Have one more because that's all I'm sharing. One more. Go ahead.
You'll see it actually take the draw down there. It's doing it, look. Just want to draw this cigarette.
You're very welcome. There you go.
Just want to draw it, Spirits. Take a draw. Ready,
Go ahead, Spirits. Take a draw from hers.
Take a draw. I hope he's half. Thank you. It's an interesting though, isn't
Yeah,
it?
no, I was where our homestead was, okay, where we lived in the homestead. You had to go 33 miles into the bush by vehicle, around roundabout or whatever. When you got there, you had to take a boat and go across 3 lakes to get to our house.
Uh-huh.
Well, down, if you walk back from the house another 5-6 miles, there's an old river stream that runs down, but there's thousands and thousands of blueberries there, you know. So I'd go down there to pick blueberries all the time. Well, one time I was down there and I start picking these blueberries, right? And I'm picking these blueberries and I look across the river and I see this bear sitting there, right? And I'm like, whatever, still picking some blueberries. And I glance over, well, the bear stands up. I'm like, wait a second. Then the bear picks up a rock and puts it right by the shore. And I'm thinking, what the hell? This is no bear. Right now, at this point, this ain't no bear.
No.
Well, it goes into the water. It walks about up to its knees in water. It sits there like this. Bam. Gets a fish. Caught a big pike. It must have been, I don't know, 10, 12-pound pike. Holds it by the tail, walks up to the rock and goes smack and hits the head of the pike on the rock. Then sat down by the tree again and ate it. Right? And I'm like, well, you have yourself a nice day. You know, I'm just gonna pick my berries here. You have yourself a good day. And I'm thinking to myself, well, you know, I guess as long as he's minding his business and not bugging me, you know, I'm not gonna bother him. Well, that was bad enough, right? How about? See, I think that was in June. And in August, anyway, I was down there again. Yeah. Well, I'm sitting there. I swear to God, here he comes, okay, walking, and the trees, I seen the trees moving before I saw him, right?
Right.
Then he comes out and he walks down to the water and he looks around like this, puts his hands in, washes his hands just like you or I would. Then he turns his head back and goes, like this, like made this really weird noise. And this other one come out, just like a baby one, 6 feet tall. They come out, right?
6 feet tall.
But it looked just like him, but like about 3 feet shorter, right? It came out and it went in the water and started splashing in the water just like a kid would be playing, right? And I'm sitting there looking, and all of a sudden I'm feeling like a pervert because I'm watching this kid play in the water. So I turn my head. I said, I'm out of here, and I buggered off. It's like, dude, you're watching some kid play in the water. Get out of here, you know. But I just felt like yucky, you know.
You had seen something you weren't supposed to see.
I wasn't supposed to be there. I wasn't supposed to see it. I mean, so I was just like, no, time to go.
Too much.
Too much. You know, I can't take this shit. So I left. I went back to the house. And
did you tell when you went back up home?
yeah, well, you know, they were used to me, and I was used to them.
Right.
You know, like I never really seen them just a couple of times, but you know, I'd be walking along back there and I'd smell it, you know, and I'd hear them rustling in the bush, and I'm certain they smelt me and heard me running around. Right? So like we're kind of used to each other, and we always kept our sides of the creek.
Right. So the mutual
Now
respect.
I think if I would have went on that side of the creek, he would have gave me a bunk on the head,
Right.
Because I'm too close to where him and his family is, right?
Right.
But if he would have came on my side of the creek into my house, I would have smacked him upside the head too. You know?
The first time that you seen him, you didn't run away, go get hundreds of people and go back. So he
No,
kind
why
of
would I?
expected that as well.
Well, no. Why
But
would
you
I?
didn't run away
Everything on this planet, I don't care if it's a mosquito. When it's time to go, it's time to go. If it bites me, it's time to go. But everything on this planet has a right to exist.
Uh-huh.
Everything that's here has a right to its own privacy, its own. Like everybody says, oh, it's the right to know, the right of information. Bullshit.
No.
We're not made as human beings to be put on every photograph and everything. We're not like that. We are social creature, but we do need our privacy, right?
Yes.
That's part of life. People move to the country to get away from people. You know, people
But
put
I
up
was thinking
fences.
about this, but because your door chapped, doesn't it mean to say you need to go answer it?
People put up fences to keep the neighbors out. So why would I bring people to see them? You know, it's just not. I wouldn't want people invading my house.
No, exactly. And I think that probably built up a respect that very first time that you did see it, that you didn't go run away and go get hundreds of people to come and see. And
Yeah,
that probably
I felt like there was no hostility between either of us, and we're both kind of like, okay, yeah, I see you. I know you're here. That's fine. We're good with that. And that's the feeling I got from him.
right.
What did he look like? Well, he looked like a really overpowered, like a really heavy duty build bodybuilder, you know, hairy one. But
Very
like,
tall.
you can see the muscle. Like for one thing, his bicep went from his shoulder to here. Like
Right.
it didn't just go here. It basically seemed to be like almost one thing, right?
Right.
That was the most different thing. Other than that, he kind of looked like you or I, except he had a bigger forehead and higher.
Much like the photograph does then. A cross
You know.
between man and ape type of look.
Yeah, somewhere in the middle, you know, like, but his cheekbones were very high and pronounced.
Right.
His forehead was like about, you know,
See, I think that is why
20% bigger than ours.
that they've seen something that's no just a wolf and it's not just a bear or anything like that, is because it looks such like man. Then again, it doesn't look like man, if you know what I mean. I think that's why a lot of people, they know that it's something paranormal or whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
The fact that it is so alike but so different.
Well, basically, Nicole, I think there's 4 shadow people. There's the shadow people that are just spirits who cannot, for whatever reason, remember how they looked or remember how to. It's not that they don't have the energy; it's just maybe they don't remember how to take a certain form. So then you got shadows that go back and forth. That's one type of shadow. Shadow, like that shadow people thing is so wrong. Anyway, the other type of shadow person would be a spirit that could walk around as a shadow. Okay. I think the other shadow is the corner of the eye shadow, right? Like you'll see it from the
Yeah.
eyes. And the real shadow people, um, from what I've found out anyway, they're actually humans at one time, like thousands of years ago. They got to the point where they didn't give a crap about having definition, and they just wanted a body to travel in so they could keep their energy for doing nasty shit, right?
Right.
But nobody really knows where they came from. But they are a nasty thing, and they try to trick people into hurting themselves. And if you don't hurt yourself after a length of time, they get bored and hurt you anyway.
Yeah.
And they're very nasty. Okay, there is also the paper people, okay, who are the exact opposite. And they're not really paper people. They just look like paper people because they're white, right? So they got the same effect as the shadow,
Right.
but they look kind of like paper. And
Oh,
but
I can't like paper look.
they're actually people of the light.
Right.
They're not paper people. They just look like that. They look
Right.
like
Look like that kind of cutout. Is that what you mean? Is like that? Right.
a cutout, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they don't need to be 3 dimensional either, and they don't
Right.
care about whatever. However, they do not like shadow people, and shadow people don't like them. The only way to get rid of a shadow person is to get one of them to come in, because then they'll get rid of each other, right?
Because they're of the light.
If I could investigate anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Scotland to meet all yours.
Well, yeah, obviously Scotland, but I don't want to go with an obvious answer. Mm, Let me think about that for a few minutes.
It's a good question.
It is a good question. Yeah, but I do wanna investigate everything in Scotland, even the sheep. So
Oh, there she goes, Sarah. See, Danny wants to meet the sheep.
that's
No,
it.
they're murdering sheep up here. It's no normal sheep. They kill you and everything.
Psycho sheep.
See, when you
Yeah,
wake
there's
up,
many places around the world, though, aren't there? I mean, there's that many places around the world with all the different, like, historical places you can go to and everything. I mean, there's loads. I think I like the history side of things. Like, I would like to go somewhere like Italy and things like that as well, where you've got all the cultural spirits. I'd
Yeah,
like to go
Nicole,
somewhere.
that's a real shadow man. That's a real one. That I would say you ran into a real one.
Wait, is it?
Me
Oh,
and my
right.
best friend had to drive away and asked a shadow person who threw her off the stairs, sensed her coming once, he was like a dark energy wanted to hurt. Yep, that's exactly what they are. That's what they do.
A rodent kind of look. So they're not really like formed faces like ours. They're more like a
Well,
rodent
no,
face.
a shadow person thinks of humans like pests.
Right.
They like to stomp on our heads with their feet.
Right. So they really want to dedicate their life to destroying mankind type of thing. They just don't like us.
Yes, Grave Fires is definitely the most haunted place.
That's what I was going to say earlier.
Cemetery,
I feel as if Greyfriars is like
cemetery
that.
in the whole bloody world.
I feel it's much turned into much like what you were saying earlier, Danny, that the spirits at Greyfriars know you're going to waste 10 minutes and you've got to be gone. I think
Yeah.
they're just that used to people coming and say, don't talk because in 10 minutes they'll be away. You
Yeah.
know?
Now, Grayfields, and you know what? You haven't even seen the tip of the iceberg of what could happen there. I mean, that place is that even when they're being bad, they're being nice to you because they could do a hell of a lot worse if they wanted to, right? So, yeah, I would say that's, if not the most haunted place in the world, cemetery wise. it's got to be one or two anyway, top one or two. So
That one in Florida, the one that was the is it Summer? Springfield Cemetery in Florida. That's meant to be one of the most haunted as well, isn't it?
hmm
Springfield in Florida.
There's a few. There's one in London as well that's meant to be quite.
yeah, yeah, it's bad too. But Greyfire is in a class of its own, just because it's
There's
not just one type of haunting there. It's
right.
not just one type of entity that's going to come after you there. There's like 10 or 12 different things there that shouldn't be there. Because it's so bloody old. I mean, think about all the druids that might have put, like I'm a druid. I know what some of the other brothers might do or might not do. I'm a nature druid.
Right.
But there's different types of druids. There's different types of shamans. There's different types of, witches and ceremonial people. I mean, who knows what people have done there over the eons?
Centuries, I know. It's like Edinburgh
so,
Castle. Edinburgh Castle to me would be really interesting, just like Greyfriars, because there's been that much things happened up at Edinburgh Castle, and I've never ever seen a paranormal investigation up at Edinburgh Castle actually in it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think it's allowed because obviously it's historic Scotland that owns the castle.
You know where I'd like to investigate is that tunnel. I can't remember what it's called.
We'll come with you, Dobie, not a problem.
It was like back in the 1800s. It was like the boys' club or something like that. But it was in a tunnel.
Oh, the Greyfriars. I know what you're talking about.
One girl was tricked down there and she was killed.
What's that
She was supposed to marry some other guy.
Nelly, put it up.
I can't remember what it's called. I'd like to go there just to see.
Closes. The one's underneath the ground.
Yeah, it runs underneath the ground and it's Hellfire Club.
Hellfire Club. There's Ireland, London, and here, I think.
I'd love to go to the Hellfire Club because I'd like to see what's really in there.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen a lot of different TV guys and a lot of other channels that actually gone in there. And I'm watching it and they're freaking out about this rock over here, but they don't see the thing standing right there. It's like, come on.
That was one of my questions to you was, see on some of the big shows like Ghost Adventures and things, I don't know if you ever watch them, right, but do you ever see things in the background that they always all completely miss?
Yeah. I see stuff in a lot of my YouTubian stuff.
Right.
When I'm watching the stuff. And like when I do things, like I do promos for them or whatever, I'll pull up stuff and show them stuff that they didn't even know was on there. So,
right.
See,
that's interesting. I like that because then that shows that you could, if you wanted to, go back.
Yes, I would. Yeah.
The standing stones. Andy. It's crazy, isn't it? I think Britain's got a lot of haunted roads, but with the way YouTube is going right now, there's loads and loads. Scotland, not so much. England, there's a lot of haunted roads. The channels do a lot of haunted roads. I've not seen
in Scotland, Ireland, England, Welsh, the paranormals look at so differently there, and it's more accepted there. And there's so many places that are haunted because people know it's haunted, and it's like the more people that believe something is there, the more energy you're giving that place. Yes. So the more you believe, okay, so let's look at that country singer bar, Mackey's. Mackey's, is that it?
Bobby Mackey's.
Okay, it was haunted before, right? People used to say it was haunted, and there was a few things happened here and there. Now millions of people believe that's haunted. Do you know how much energy is feeding that building?
A lot.
Spirits that are there are soaking up all that belief in them.
Right.
It's making them so much stronger, right? So as you look at what's happened at Mackey's over the years, it's gotten worse and worse attacks. Worse and worse things happen. What do you want? You want up?
That's like my dog. If she wants your attention, she's going to get it. Yeah, the energies involved in Mackey's are really meant to be quite. I mean, there was a woman who was meant to have been killed there. Was it with a baby or something? I think that's how the initial spirit that was meant to be haunting the place. But then obviously it's added upon and added upon. We don't know if the death of that spirit lady, that lady dying, has opened a doorway to all these different other energies. And then Ghost Adventures not going has obviously put a focus on the place.
Right.
So really
Well, not just them. Look, we'll play in a little bit.
It's
Okay?
every time you speak, Danny.
She wants
It's
to
like,
play.
Aye, you're not God on there, Dad. You're coming to play with me.
I'll get you. I'll get you.
That's what Sparkle's like. She just pure annoys you. She doesn't care.
Yeah, she likes to play.
Care. My dog, I don't even know where she. Oh, she sprung right out of my bed.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's lots and lots of places I'd love to go investigate. There's lots of places, eventually I'll get there. But, I mean, I was going to be going, we had planned a trip down to the U.S. This summer. We were going to go, like, a couple months back. But then the border's being closed and they put a
Oh,
kind
you in Canada, Danny? You in Canada?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were going to go all through the States, and we had a whole bunch of places lined up that we wanted to go to.
Right.
But because of everything going on, it's been postponed again.
I know.
Which is kind of a pain in the ass. So hopefully next year.
It's the same here, Danny. We're not allowed to travel too far either. We're not allowed to
We
date.
want to go to Wales for a visit and to do some investigating, but obviously because of what's going on in the world, it's been postponed.
Aye.
And I love going to places that no one's been before too. I like that because now you're walking into the unknown. You don't know what the heck's going on, and then you go, holy crap, look at this, like.
And you probably just discovered a whole new place that's more haunted than anywhere else that you've ever been before. But you don't think sometimes you should keep these places a secret until you find out what's there? Because the minute you seem to do an investigation or put it on YouTube, everybody wants to go to it.
But that's good because the way I look at that is, I'd have 100 people check out a place,
Right.
Because that's 100 different possibilities of different evidence that we can share as a community.
Right.
And, okay, look, that's a new way of trying some, or that's a new idea, right? Like if one person says, look, I got a picture of this woman on the stairs, right? One person says, I got a picture of this woman on the stairs. It's a novelty. It's like, oh, yeah, maybe. But now, if 20 people get the picture similar up to the woman on the stairs, it's now becoming evidence.
Right. So it's now like this is definitely something.
So the more that do it, in a way, is better because now we've got more evidence from different people at different times,
Right.
Yeah, dogs protect themselves. So do cats.
It was just because sometimes you go to a place and the spirits don't open up to you easily. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 times going to that place before the spirits will even speak to you. So I was thinking down the lines of that. Like sometimes it's maybe better off to go to a place 2 or 3 times without telling anybody, any of these other groups, so that you yourself gets to know who's there. Do you know what I mean? So that maybe a better chance of them opening up to you, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, Nicole, animals can see spirits and spirits see them. And so if an animal is showing aggression to the spirit, it's going to back off.
Right.
Because the spirit still has the fear. They still remember everything.
So they still think the dog could bite them.
Well, maybe not.
I wonder if a dog would. Do you think it would?
I
Or
don't
would
know.
the dog know
I
if it's a
don't.
spirit and it can't bite it?
I've never seen a dog bite a spirit or anything.
See, that's interesting.
But on this other thought, if you can catch a spirit at the time that it manifests enough to be physical with you, to touch you, at that time, you've got just as much energy to hit him back.
Right, well,
Right?
true. So
Like
it's
if
like a
he's solid enough to hit you, you're solid enough to hit him.
right.
Like you got to be quick though, because they're like that. But
Now, of course,
if you could catch a spirit who's solid enough to push someone down the stairs, he's
And
also
that's
solid enough for you to slap him. You know what I mean? So
So I take it that takes the same amount of energy for them to touch you. Because spirit's not going to be solid at all times. It takes a lot of energy for it to get to that stage. So
right.
if a spirit chooses enough to build up enough to touch you, then obviously the spirit's like, well, not got a connection with you, but it's more likely to connect to you because it's built enough energy up to go that wee bit extra with you, if you get what I'm trying to say. So you're bound to make a better connection to go on a level of communicating. You know what I'm trying to. I don't know the words. See, I'm terrible with words. I know what I'm thinking.
Would I investigate at Graceland? Why not? I'd investigate the bathroom. I mean,
Bathrooms are usually haunted, but because a lot of people die in the toilet.
yeah, exactly.
I goes bedtime at 10 o'clock. What? Where's that? Tenochtitlan? Modern day Mexico City. The pyramids there. Hundreds of thousands of human sacrifices done over the centuries, let alone natural deaths, war, etc. I know. That's the thing, death is everywhere, isn't it? Pick a spot and go investigate it because it's everywhere.
Yeah. Well, Nicole, you're lucky.
Aye, 4 year Nelly, we Salem. Salem wasn't a cat, but he was human. You know where that was a cat. He had a human soul, for sure. Oops, Elvis died.
Yeah. Well, that's not the way I want to go out.
No, I don't think I'd want to go out on the toilet either, to be fair.
I want to go out like my granddaddy, you know, peacefully asleep. Not like the passengers in his car that were screaming.
Oh. Like that. I know. That's everybody's dream, though, isn't it? Just to go out and as peacefully as possible,
That's
as
it.
painless as possible.
No, I want to go out kicking and screaming.
Oh, you would, Sarah. Come on.
Bugger did the peaceful thing, do it kicking and screaming.
Hey, you better watch. You might just get that. Don't watch what you asked for. You might just get it. Aye, Nelly, I'm telling you, you bet you any money that Salem will come round. You just ask him if you're struggling. Just say, Salem, I wish you were here. And I bet you any money you'll feel him around you.
Oh, no. Oh, no. What's going on? Oh, crap. I'm going to fall off this toilet. Thank you very much. No, that would have been a bit nasty.
Oh, dear.
Well, that's the way to do her.
She didn't wake up, Toby, right?
That's the way to do her.
I want to die when I'm asleep, laugh out loud, but then I'm going to come back and haunt the person that I was closest with.
Oh, hey, Sammy.
But you know, I
didn't even see Sammy come in.
I know wee sweet Sammy. Scott Danny can sing Elvis too. All right. You get him to give us a, what you call it, serenaders, whatever you call it, one night.
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
So Danny, is there any advice you would, I know I probably asked you this in Chris's channel, but is there any advice you could give us for when we do come across these places like Greyfriars and things, that we know there's bad spirits there, but we don't want to necessarily talk to the bad spirits, but we want to talk to the good ones? What could we dare say that'll help us communicate with the good spirits and kind of ignore the bad ones. Just keep the positive questions and things.
Yeah, just keep, just say I'm here to communicate with the good spirits. And if you hear on your box a bad spirit say something, totally ignore it.
Right.
Don't give it any energy. Don't respond to it all. Just pretend it wasn't there.
See, when they growl at me, I just
Because
say,
they get
"Stop
bored
it,
real quick.
that's not nice."
Bad spirits get bored really, really quick. If you totally ignore them,
Right.
they don't stay long. They usually wander off and bother somebody else.
So we just keep it all positive, ignore the bad spirits if they start saying swearing, derogatory things.
And if it's getting hairy, just leave. Like if it's getting to the point where you're starting to feel nervous, just leave.
Right,
You
okay.
know? There's nothing
Well,
wrong.
great trials. We'll not be doing great trials again, though.
No, I know. But there's still the metropolis and things like that where we could come across like the negative spirits in there as well, though. It's just the same as Greyfriars.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't want to really communicate with anything bad. I
Yeah,
just
no,
want
there are a lot of places where there's a lot of bad ones, right?
Right,
So the first thing is, if you're new to it, don't go there.
right,
Secondly, you have to be able to control your fear to go
Right.
to a place like that, right?
right.
Because you don't want them to see your fear. And
No,
if you start getting nervous, just calmly leave.
right,
You can always go back another time. And
exactly.
the more you go back to a place like that, the good spirits, the more they're going to get to like you, and they'll start protecting you and pushing the bad ones away anyway,
Right,
right? So just slowly make friends with the good ones.
right.
If you go, you said when we die,
Thank you, Danny.
we believe in heaven. What do we believe in heaven and reincarnation? Good question. I suppose we have a old family belief that goes way back. When you die, your spirit, if you believe in reincarnation, but you believe in God, you believe in everything else, but you believe that your soul is meant to do more. We don't call it reincarnation. We
Right,
believe that you go to heaven, and part of you stays there. Part of you becomes what you're supposed to be. But some of your some of your energy is donated to the spirit baby room. Part of your spirit becomes like goes to the incubator, sort of a deal. And then when a new child is born, sometimes your spirit will travel with that child's spirit, and you'll become a guide to that spirit,
all right.
right? So you're now all of a sudden that child will have, oh, I remember all this from the past life, right? But it's your life that they're remembering.
Right, so you're just kind of helping them on their journey.
You're just helping them on the journey.
Right. And I take it that's what most spirits, your guides are then. Most guides will be your family, your ancestors and things, I take it.
Hmm.
Most of your guides.
Well, what not to do when
Provoke.
especially if you're first
Sarah.
starting out. First of all,
Don't hit Mackenzie's tomb with your walking stick, please.
when you're
Was
just
it me?
starting out, okay, when you're first starting off, go out in the daytime.
Mhm.
This going out at nighttime is a bunch of BS. There's just as many ghosts during the day than there is at night. They don't give a crap about what time of day it is, okay? They could care less.
Mhm.
A lot of my investigations are in the daytime just to show people that,
It can be done.
right? So go in the daytime where you can see where your feet are going, so you don't fall in a hole and break your leg.
Yes.
It's not only the spirits you got to be worried about, you got to worry about your environment.
Exactly,
Plus, you have to learn how to use all your equipment properly.
Yes.
So the first 10 or 12 investigations should be, just go in a daytime or early evening, learn your equipment, learn your craft, figure out what kind of investigator you want to be. Like, by 12 investigations, you're pretty sure, what works for you, what doesn't work for you.
That's
So
where I
then
kind of on
try one a little bit later in the evening,
Right.
never by yourself. Make sure you got one or two people with you. right? And if you do separate, have walkie-talkies in case you fall or you get hurt,
Right.
you know, and just be respectful. I mean, keep in mind, spirits were people too, okay? And sooner or later, you're going to be a spirit. So when you're a
Exactly.
spirit, how do you want people talking to you?
With respect, doesn't it?
You know, how do you want people to treat you?
Mm-hmm.
So keep that in mind when you're dealing with spirits, whether they're earthbound, not earthbound, whether they're humanoid or not. You're one day going to become one.
Uh-huh.
So you know the way you treat them is going to be how you end up getting treated.
See, that's why I just stick to the same questions. Say, like, you want to tell me your story, how you died, tell me if there's anybody you miss, tell me the things that you liked today when you were alive. Try and give them a wee bit but a wee human touch, you know. Talk to them
Well,
about what they like today, what like when we're in Greyfriars and things, I'll say, what was it like when you were alive? What era? We're now in 2020.
well, Nicole, you are a seer, okay? So you could have seen all that on the timeline without even realizing it. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
not the first time that's happened to you, and certainly wasn't the last time. You often go places and you're like, okay, I've been here before. Or you often start a conversation and go, well, didn't we just talk about this like 2 days ago? You know, because you're a seer. You're a seer. You travel on a timeline when you don't realize it. So
There you go, Nicole. That's
it's not
interesting.
necessarily from a past life. It could be from this life. You just decide to skip ahead a few days.
So you could actually experience something that you've not really experienced before.
Hmm.
You get so you've not experienced it yet, but you're acting as if you have because you've got to do it in the future type of thing.
Yeah, because you jumped
That's
on the
interesting.
timeline, you zipped up. It's
Yeah,
basically you reliving what you did before time, right?
right.
Time always catches back up to itself. So, say you're sleeping and you astral travel 3 or 4 days ahead, and then you have this conversation, and you'll notice too, it's a very finite line because you'll be talking to someone and they'll say a sentence, you'll say a sentence, they'll say a sentence, and you know this is coming.
Yeah.
But the moment you say we've done this before, it stops and everything changes, right?
That's crazy, isn't it? I've did that before, honestly, God.
It all changes. The moment that you say I've done this before, now you've just realigned yourself, so now everything's brand new again.
So you've kind of pressed the reset button.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you press the reset button as soon as you say that.
That's crazy, isn't it? But see, especially as you're saying that, you can remember something that happened.
Yeah,
Remember thinking that.
but that's what happens. I mean, that's
I really respect terms respect. Same with the spirits, isn't it? You've got to earn their respect. You've got to be nice. You've just got to be nice. You can't approach anything with attitude or badness. You've got to approach everything in life with a positive vibe, I think, when you can.
Well, I'm going to end this soon, guys. But on Wednesday, we are on again with another paranormal team. But this time they are from England.
So that's Wednesday.
Wednesday, yes.
all right. Well, thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Hopefully,
Dan,
you'll
I can listen to you for hours, and I will get you on my channel if that's okay at some point in time. If you would be my guest,
Sure,
thank
sure. I'm
you.
all, I'm always there for my YouTubians. Happy to help out if I can, and So yeah, be
Me,
an honor. Be an honor.
for you.
Be an honor to pop over. So,
Thank you.
so I guess I'll say what I always say. Remember now, take care of yourselves. Take care of your family. Watch out for ghosts. And have a great day. Bye.
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 Bye. I need to get Danny's link. I don't know if I've got him on my YouTube or no. I keep trying to grab his link every time I'm on, but I can't grab it. Why you got to post it up for me to make sure I've actually got him? I was trying to look for him last week when I think he had just been on Chrissy's channel, but I couldn't find the name of his channel anywhere. I think I'm a sub to him, but I just want to make sure.
Yes, England, Liam. That's on Wednesday at 9. And then we've got a couple of others lined up.
haunted finders this week as well, guys. We're just still making plans for it. Me and Tom.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed tonight.
It's been good.
Really interesting. Danny's so knowledgeable, isn't he? Could just sit and listen to him all night. I didn't realise he was in Canada, so it's not America then, he's Canadian. I didn't realise that.
Canadian.
Bye, Nova.
GSI Paranormal. Thank you, Scott. I forgot their name.
GSI Paranormal. I don't think I've heard of them.
Well, that's who is on with us on
Danny's channel there.
Wednesday.
Grab that one. There we go. Just like that.
Right, well, I'm going to end this, guys. And we shall see you all soon.
Yep, thanks everybody. Love yous all. Catch yous all soon. Sorry I didn't interact with chat.